All right, guys, here we go. We're live. Gonna do a little recap here for everyone. Hopefully, everything's working right. Let me know how the sound is, y'all who are just joining in. Get it pulled up here and make sure everything's working. Thanks for joining, Shane, Ed, T-Bone, Ed. What's up, guys? Let a couple more people get in here. We're gonna be going over the new cars that everyone's got out. Talk about the past event. Man, there was a lot of stuff that went on there. That's for sure. So we're gonna go over all that. This is y'all's time to pass out some questions. Hopefully, get some answers, and then we're also gonna look at what's next to come. So let a couple more people get on here, get my stuff all set up, and we'll be ready to go. Hope y'all having a good night. So it's kind of a last minute thing. I was trying to get together, and I don't know why it picked that picture, that thumbnail. I gotta change that thumbnail eventually when we get done here. Thank you, Weston. Just got a piece of paper slid underneath my office door here. Show y'all what it is real quick. Just got a little note. Weston, he's gonna be 5 here next month, and he's really into coloring right now. He's doing awesome. So, all right, we got quite a few people on here. We're gonna go ahead and get started here. All right, guys. So first thing I want to go over is the new cars. We were heading into Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we had first car everyone was looking forward to was Kai Kelly's NPK Shocker. Larry Jeffers race cars, beautiful car. We did the pit tour, and sure enough, Kai had trailer problems, and he wasn't there for it. And then with all the busyness of the race day, I didn't get a chance to really go over there and look over the car, but we're going to. We're definitely going to this week. Take some time over there, let y'all get a real good look at it, and see if we can't talk to Kai himself. We also had Robin Roberts. He brought out his new car. We were all expecting, anticipating to see the Hart's Charger on there. So we'll talk about that a little bit. It does have Hart's turbos on it. Then Mike Bowman, he brought out his new Chevelle from Team Cali, and we all were waiting to see a couple things from the Swan gang, right? They were getting some new parts in the motor to get it more set up for the screw blower. They were looking at getting like a new, I think they were going to get a new cam and pistons and a couple other things. But obviously we'll end up talking about that car a little bit more. But first things first, let's talk about what else was going on. Obviously, we were all looking forward to that stuff, and then the big news of the weekend was a lot of you have seen the posts that have been out there that the producer Mike Hellman had passed away, and that changed the whole tone of the weekend. Um, personally, just knew Mike from race to race. Super nice guy. Always had a smile on his face. Would just lighten up the mood with his demeanor that he carried, and he will be missed. That's for sure. He was a big part of the production team. So with that, obviously, for those who don't know, they sent all of production home to mourn his loss. He was a huge part of the Street Outlaws family. Been with them for a long time. So nothing but respect for the decisions that were made. And at that point, the show had to go on. They did decide there was going to be no points because of the drivers and their relationships that they had with him. So they didn't want to make anyone feel that it was a requirement to race. So it was optional. There was no points. And then that brings us to the news that just came out yesterday, which was a 16th event has been added. It is Alabama International Raceway in Steele, Alabama. So basically how the schedule is going to go this week, we will all be heading out to Boise, Idaho. Then we have, I think, 2 weeks off in between Idaho, and then we start a 3-race stretch. It will be Tucson, Arizona, Vandermeer, Colorado, and all the way back to Norwalk, Ohio. Now, previously, before this event was added, Norwalk, Ohio was going to be the 13th race. 13th, 14th race were going to be points and a half, and the 15th race was going to be double points. Well, now that we basically put a little line through Tulsa, they added in Alabama in between Rockingham, North Carolina, and Ennis, Texas. So now those 3 are going to be the final races. Norwalk will now be regular points. Rockingham, North Carolina will be the first race of points and a half. Steele, Alabama will be the second to last race, also points and a half. And then obviously your finals will still be in Ennis. So a little bit of a mix-up there, but I think production and the team had to do what they needed to do to get everything right. So that's that. And next thing on the list, we need to go over some races. Got some races from last week to look at. First race we're going to bring up here was Saturday. We're going to get right into Saturday. We're going to skip over Friday in the grade 8. We will talk a little bit about it. Ryan ended up winning that grade 8 on Friday. So let's take a look real quick at the first race on the agenda. Out of the way. First race we're going to look at here was the second race of the Invitational. Kai Kelly versus John Odom. That was Kai's first race in the Invitational with that car. His first pass in the grade 8 didn't go as planned. He ended up drawing Justin Swansham. Justin won that one. Obviously, Kai had a bunch of changes he wanted to make to the car. The car was darn near untested, and some people may argue that point, but there weren't many 660 passes made in that car. To bring a little light to that situation and why that happened, Kai decided to bring the car out when he did, and obviously in between the Houston race and the Tulsa race, there was a large break, right? And everyone says, "Oh, this is perfect. You know, guys are going to have time to test and everything." But the truth of the matter is that there were two other Street Outlaw shows being filmed at the time, right? You had the 405 that was in Oklahoma. They were filming their OG show, and then majority of NOLA was in Las Vegas filming season 3 of Fastest in America. So Kai was doing Endgame, Fastest in America. He had a lot going on, so he didn't get to make very many passes in the car. Not making excuses for him, but Kai ended up making the right adjustments, as you saw from his first pass down the track in the grade 8, losing to Justin, and ended up making a great pass there in round 1, taking out John Odom. The next notable race was race 6. I actually left the stands here. I was on my way down to Scott Taylor's race, which was coming up. This one was a Team South matchup, actually. Sean Wilhoit here in the left lane and Kayla Morton over in the right lane. Pro-charged matchup here. Close race there. I wish I would have almost been in the stands to see that race. It's hard to see what the gap was there, but awesome race. Congratulations to Sean. He's got a Proline power plant in his car now, so congratulations to him. But I also don't want to leave out the news of Kayla Morton. If y'all remember, if you were a part of the pit tour this past week, you also know that Kayla made it to this race after wrecking in Houston. So that was huge for her team to be back, and I'm sure they weren't happy with the results, but it was a win for that team just to be there, that's for sure. I think a surprise to most of us was race 8 here. Race 8 was definitely a surprise for our team, for STM. Left lane, Scott. Right lane, Jim Howe, Howe Motorsports. Jim made a good pass there. Going out there first round, obviously, Scott and the team, they weren't going to take Jim lightly. He's definitely figuring that new car out, making some stellar passes, so we didn't want to take him lightly. I know the guys put quite a tune-up in it that you saw there where Scott knocked the tires off. But you look at that matchup, Scott's tied for 7th in points. Jim Howe, he's down in the teens, but he is on his way up. So that was a surprise for the first round. Next race here was Robin Roberts in his new car, right lane. Larry Larson in the left lane. A couple Team X teammates here. There's quite a few team matchups that ended up coming out of the first round drawing. Man, Robin was on his way to a win there. As you seen at the 330, he was at least a car and a half out on Larry, and then the car was just leaning towards center. You saw there, and that just goes to show you, man, the race ain't over until it's over. Larry Larson with a win there, moved on to round 2. Next race here was Murder Nova versus Brandon James. Another close race there to the 330. Darn near dead even. Sean was with Brandon, and Sean also had to get out of it in that left lane. So race 12, the very next race. Disco Dean right lane, B-Rad left lane. Man, Disco had a heck of a ride there. I don't know if y'all are seeing the theme here. That right lane, everyone was coming towards center pretty much. Um, Disco drove that thing. He stayed in it, ended up annihilating that finish line cone. B-Rad ended up coming around him for the win. Happy for that team. Race number 14. Let's take a look at it. Got Justin Swanstrom in the right lane, Chuck Seitzinger in the left. I don't know if Justin saw the theme there or not. Obviously, you've seen he had the shootout very early. I don't know if it had anything to do with it with their history or not. Chuck kind of talked about it in his YouTube video. Obviously, the last time they raced was last year. I think it was the last time they raced, or the most memorable at least, was last year in Maple Grove. Some interesting history there, but Justin making a great pass. He came out. His car was flying. They had time to test, and they definitely did prove that their testing went well. Justin had gone out the evening before, still trying to figure out that track in the semifinals versus Daddy Dave in the grade 8, but obviously figured that car out, made a heck of a pass there in the first round versus Chuck. In the last race of the first round was obviously one of your finalists, that being Lizzie Musey here, left lane versus Adam Jennings in the right lane. Now this matchup, I was very interested in this matchup because just a couple races prior in Brainerd, Minnesota, Adam Jennings took out Lizzie Musey. Adam a little bit anxious there. I know he was kicking himself after I got to talk to him, but he did what he had to do. He knew he was up against Lizzie, and she'd been flying, you know. There wasn't anyone that took Lizzie lightly this week. If you look back at Houston, she was on fire. She went 2-1 in the grade 8. She took out Justin first round, Scott Taylor the second round, and then in the finals of the grade 8 ended up losing to Ryan. But then also the very next night, Saturday, in the Invitational, she took out Dominator first round, Mike Bowman the second, Disco Dean the third round, Daddy Dave in the semis, and then lost to Ryan. So really, she was coming in there on a pretty good hot streak, only losing to number 1 and arguably the fastest car out there, Ryan. So nobody was taking her lightly. So can't blame Adam for trying to get a little jump there on the start. Just didn't go his way. Let's take a look. All right, so I was going to get into the next race, but as some of y'all may have noticed, I did not post up second round races. Y'all saw and heard that it was brutally hot there in Tulsa, sorry. And I just could not make myself get out there after the first round. I came back, I got the video posted, and I was thinking, man, I got to get some grub. So I ended up going out and standing in line in that scorching heat got some food for me and the family, and then before I knew it, the cars were starting up. Boosted was announcing for everyone to get into the stands, and I was just out of it, man. I had to take a break in the air conditioning, so I apologize I didn't get round two up. Most notably, the biggest matchup of the round was Sean Wilhoit um, taking out Ryan Martin. It was an awesome race. Y'all head over to Sean's page. He has an awesome GoPro footage from inside his passenger door. He was in the left lane looking out at Ryan in the right. And man, it was door to door the whole way. Huge congrats to Sean. Um, it's always a congratulatory moment when you take out basically the king of no prep right now, Ryan Martin. So huge shout out to him and that team. But we're gonna head on and take a look at the third round. Continuing recapping here. Jim Howe in the right lane versus Daddy Dave. First race of the third round. Let's watch that one again. Jim had the wheels up on that Camaro. He was sending it, that's for sure. Ended up having to get out of it, and Dave makes a good A to B pass there, comes around him. That was the first race of the third round. Here's the second race. Third round, Doc. The third round versus Lizzie Musey. Hey, Doc made a good pass there. Lizzie ended up coming out on top. So we got Lizzie and Dave heading on to the semis. Third race of the third round. Jerry Bird in that right lane. Oh, he was a little bit antsy. He pits right next to Scott. Got to talk to him and Daryl afterwards. Man, they were super bummed out. Um, Jerry. Sean Wilhoit, great showing heading into the semifinals. His first semi of the year, I do believe. And then the last race of the third round. Larry Larson right lane versus Justin Swasham in the left. At this point, um, there was definitely some banter around me. Justin made a heck of a pass right there. He's definitely figuring that car out as the evening went on. Continued to get cooler. That car continued to run very well, and whatever chassis adjustments they made to that car from Friday to right there, that round three. Um, Man, you got to hand it that team. They did really well right there. So let's take a look at the semifinal races. First one, Sean Wilhoit right lane, Lizzie Musey in the left. Sean went red. Lizzie again. Don't know if her results from the previous race, her points position, whatever it was considered there. But obviously, Sean thought that he needed a little bit of an edge, and unfortunately, Lizzie didn't even make a full A to B pass. She had to pedal it and get out of it. But you know, that's racing. That's the chance you take. Unfortunately, you know, Sean went red. Second race of the semis. Man, door to door at the 330. Let's take a look at that race again. Right there, 330. Justin's got Dave by half a car, and I think he just kept on pulling from this point. Can't tell exactly what the gap was down there, but it looked to be at least a car and a half down there. So Justin's flying. Lizzie did not make that good of a pass. So um, at this point, again, the banter in the stands is leaning towards Justin. Take a look. Y'all know the results. Take a look at that one again. Let's pause it at the 330 this time. And right there, and you see Lizzie's car, how sideways she is right there. Golly, she's out almost a car, um, but it's all for naught. Her car is completely sideways. I know she did all she could to drive this thing. Shoots all the way back over to the left side. At that point, we're past the mile-an-hour cone, and she's a car behind at least. Um, Justin made the pass that he needed to make right there. So congratulations to Justin Swansham, the first screw blower victory in NPK. He's got a lot of confidence heading into this Western swing. That's for sure. I know he was online saying that they were going to be testing today and tomorrow. So man, he's putting in work. Um, Good for him and that team. It's good to see um, these drivers and teams putting in this effort. You know, right now, I think hands down, No Prep Kings is the biggest and baddest racing there is. There are people knocking on the door, wanting to get in here, and NPK is just it's growing right now. It really is. It's huge. I'm thankful to be a part of it. I'm thankful all of y'all have been watching and subscribing and liking the videos and commenting. Really appreciate it. I'm blessed to be able to go to these races. I'm blessed to be able to hook up to my camper and bring my family to some of these races. And can't thank you guys enough. But we're getting geared up this week. We're gonna be heading out. I think Scott and one of our guys from the team, they're going to be heading out on Tuesday and starting that long trek. I'm not flying out until Thursday morning, and then landing in Boise, Idaho, Thursday around like noontime. So got a big travel week this week, that's for sure. It's a long way. Y'all know I'm sitting here in Mississippi. It would have literally been a 31-hour drive. So it is a long haul for a lot of people. I'm just even thinking right now, like Swanstrom over in Florida. I don't even know how far that is. It's probably like 40 hours for them to get up there. But that just goes to show you, man. There are so many teams that are dedicated. This invitational field, 32 car field, is packed every week, and with people knocking on the doors um, in the futures class, wanting to get in there, wanting to take one of the 32 spots. So it's just awesome to see. Awesome to see this sport. Y'all are awesome for supporting it, watching the shows, everything, man. It's such a cool thing to be a part of, and I'm just thankful to be able to bring it to y'all. So I think that's going to end it for tonight. Do y'all have any questions? I have not been watching the comments very closely. I'm gonna scroll through them. Appreciate you guys joining in tonight. Earl, yep, left lane. Left lane was the one that everyone wanted all weekend. Thank you, Jonathan, for joining. Appreciate your comments on here, buddy. Thank you, Timothy. Appreciate that comment. Josh, after NPK, it's the schedule is filling up after NPK. Um, we have, I'll be heading out to SEMA in Las Vegas with Scott at the beginning of November. I think that's the 1st through the 4th, and then PRI. I think that's the first week of December, and man, it's just always something. That's for sure. SRT, yeah, that's true. He made an A to B pass there with his hurt motor, and he made the right decision. I'm sure Lizzie and her team didn't know that it was hurt. She was all in, as you saw. Her 330 number had to be unreal, but definitely definitely a good point there. SRT. Yeah, absolutely, Earl. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be it for this. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it. And we'll be bringing more to y'all soon. See you guys.